But on today's message, I wanted to talk real quick about as we enter, essentially halftime of the year. We are next month. We'll be, if I'm not mistaken, we'll be entering. We're halfway through the year, and we want to really be able to focus on, hey, here's where we started. Here's our first half. Here's how we look, and then kind of address things and kind of need to make the adjustment. We can make the adjustment, but I want to go back to basics on a couple of things. I'm not going to bring up something that we talked about on an old call, but I'm going to pose 3 questions that I've talked to a few people about this week, in and out of being in and out of town, and we had talked about on a couple of calls back, finding what is your why. What is your why? Why do you do what you do? And I had referenced Urich. If you ever have the opportunity, you're free this weekend or later today, and you just want to listen to some good motivational stuff. Urich is kind of an in-your-face kind of motivational speaker, and he talks to a lot of athletes, whether it be professional football players, professional basketball players, Olympic athletes, whatever it may be. He will go around, and he is a motivational speaker, but at the same time, he doesn't. There's no fluff. It's all real. Hey, here's how we do what we do, and you need to figure out why you do what you do. So there's just three questions that I'll pose to you guys today. And if anybody has any questions or they have any comments, you can hit star 2. We'll get you opened up. Today's call, like I said, was going to be a little bit more brief than normal. I just wanted to kind of leave it open to you guys if you wanted to, say anything, you want to throw anything out there. But the message today, 3 questions that I'm going to throw to you, I'm going to pose to you as you are at the halfway point of the year, and we're looking at entering into the new phase of the new year. Here we go. Number 1, what is your why? Do you do what you do for family? Is it for money? Is it to prove somebody wrong? Is it the fear of failure? Getting the opportunity to spend some time with awesome people, awesome producers in Canada at the Royal Neighbors trip. One top producer who I won't name, it was so awesome to get to spend some time with him and talk with him. This is a $15,000, $25,000 a month guy, and what he was telling me over and over again was it was the fear of failure, fear of financial failure. This is why I get up every day. I will not be beat. I will not take a step back as I work so hard to take a couple of steps forward. His fear was the fear of failure. So, we talked about, and that's kind of where the topic came up and where I started pushing to read a little bit more about it as it's been talked about over the years, is what is your why? Why do you do what you do? And Urich talks about, what drives you. If you want a life of success, there's a life of complete success, happiness, fulfillment, and all that. And I won't go through the entire article, but just finding out why do you do what you do? What is the reason? And you can answer the question of what is the why by saying, it's purpose. What is your purpose? Do you know what it takes to be great? Are you willing to go the extra mile? All of these things, I can send this to you. You can take a look at it. You can research it and find it and read it up on yourself. But I'll throw out there to you guys that, if you can find out this topic, number 1 is what is your why? We always talk about, we do this to help our clients develop a client for life, which is very, very important. I'm not talking about that side of it. Right now I'm talking about for you, why do you do what you do? What is your why? And if the purpose is, family, is it money? Is it to prove people wrong? In all actuality, you really have nobody to prove anything to except yourself. So I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to find out, just throw out that question to you guys. What is your why? And then number 2, which is, another point with, what is your goal? If you know what your why is, what's your goal? If you know what your purpose is, where you're going, what you're doing, what's your goal? What's the goal at the end of the day? Is it production-based? Is it income-based? I think everybody could answer it's income-based. Our goal is to raise the bar, bring in more income than we ever have. Those 2 questions were posed to me as well. What's your goal? If you've got your why, what's your goal? And then the third one that I'll throw out there to you is what's your plan? If you know your why, you know your goal, well, what's your plan? Are you just going to roll with the punches? You're going to wake up every day and say, I'm just going to, meet head on whatever life brings me? Or do you have a plan, a purpose? Do you have a method to the madness? And those 3 questions were something that were really brought up to us as we were having the luxury and the opportunity to spend some time with some good people at the convention trip over the years and really the past couple of weeks as I talk to other successful producers that are doing what they do at a very high level. Most of them, if not all, I'll say it, all of them have that figured out. They know what their why is. They definitely know what their why is. they know what their goal is, and that goal is ever changing. If they're exceeding the original goal that they had for themselves, they raise that bar, and they have a plan. They believe in each one of them. Actually said, my plan, I guess you could say, is to follow the system. I know how to door knock, I know how to call and set appointments, or I have an appointment setter, whatever the setup may be. They have a plan. They have a method to the madness. Actually, we just had a hand raised, so I'll open up Mr. Jim Macri. Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, Chase, I just wanted to say the reason why I do the business. First of all, I just want to say Equid is the best outfit I've ever been with. I've been with Equid since full-time, since January of '08. And just the professionalism, the training, everything. I've never in my life seen nothing like it, because I was self-employed for almost 5 years before I was with Equid. But I just love the fact that, I used to work 80 hours a week with an insurance company. I sold accident insurance. They were a great company. They had great training, combined insurance. I worked with them from '97 to '03. And when I got into management and became a district manager, I hardly saw my wife. I hardly saw my kids. So I gave my boss 4 weeks' notice in May of 2003. I went and got my life authority added to my health authority, an accident authority on my license. And when I did that, I started, going independent. And the one thing I got to say I love is having that freedom. But at the same time, and I've heard this on a lot of calls with work ethic, I don't take advantage of that freedom. Like, I'm just going to work, 10 to 15 hours a week and try to make $60K a year. I don't think like that. I think like I'm going to go out and work as hard as I can and take advantage of every avenue of training as I can to make the money. But really, I just enjoy people. I love people. I get to see people every day, when I'm out on the appointments. When I even talk to them on the phone and set appointments, sometimes somebody will have a conversation with me about their family for 5 minutes. You know what? And I'm on the phone making calls, setting appointments. I have the time for that sometimes. And, the people are lonely. And I'm just saying, I enjoy doing that. And as far as the goals, I'm not going to give up. I've never done it before that good, but my goal is to eventually, and I'm going to keep trying, is to do $200,000 in a year. And that is a goal I'm not going to give up on. Where I'm trying to better myself is, like, for example, Tuesday, every appointment fell through for me. I'm stronger on appointments than I am door knockers. And I could knock on 10 straight doors and not get anything. By the grace of God, and I give God all the credit for this, I knocked on 2 straight doors on Tuesday and was able to make 2 straight sales for $2,100, and the month had been a little late for me, but my leads were picking up again, and I got 17 next week already, and I'm very psyched about that. And I gave a presentation yesterday at an apartment complex. The lady was outside. She goes, "Do you work with the electric company?" Because I had the ID badge on. And I told her what I did, and she goes, "Yeah, I got $10,000, and I'm looking for something small. I can't afford more than $15 or $20 a month more." So I'm sharing a program with Transamerica, and she liked the $22 a month for the $5,000, and she wants me to come back Tuesday. So even though I didn't get the sale on the spot there, I looked at that as an optimistic thing. I have the appointment. She's very interested. I look at that as a free lead. So looking at every avenue to try to make extra money, supplementing the leads, maybe asking for more referrals, working the clients. And that's how I'm trying to improve my numbers, that's my ultimate goal, but my weekly goals are simple. I try to give 5 presentations a day. That's each day I'm out there, I try to give 5 presentations. So I just wanted to comment on that. But I really enjoy the people, and I love what I do. That's very important. I love what I do. Even when things aren't going good, we all get frustrated at times, but I still love what I do. And when I do get frustrated and my numbers aren't good, I think back to when I used to work 80 hours a week with all that pressure, and you could write so many policies for that company, and it wasn't enough. They wanted you to write more. So, you know what I'm saying, Chase. So I just wanted to add that.
100% right. That kind of goes into knowing what your why is. The ability to say, hey, look, I used to work a job, and no matter what I did or how much I did or how well I did, it didn't matter. I was still putting the time in. You weren't really able to be in control of your income. So that was a good point, Jim. And it comes down to also what, as I mentioned before I opened up, Jim, having a system. And I appreciate the kind words that Jim threw out there about EFES, but at the end of the day, it's all about you guys. Everybody on this call right now, everybody that you see consistently putting up numbers, the producers, the agents that are looking to really find their mark and hit their goals. It all comes down to you guys. It's 100% about you. And so I appreciate the nice words that Jim said about EFES, but at the end of the day, it's about having a system. We wanted to provide a platform for you guys to be able to not worry about, am I going to be able to have enough people to see? Am I going to be able to go here? Do I have to jump on a plane and try and catch people, 5, 6 states away, which we've heard about? That's not really our model. But what you have here is you have a system that allows you to say, okay, here's the 75 to 100 mile radius that I need to work. Here's the data counts that I have. Here's how many leads I need each week. And if you don't know that, we can help you come up with the amount of leads that you need each week. But the bottom line is that you have a system that you're able to plug into. You're able to really calculate and run a business off of that system because it provides you everything that you need. Example, when you're able to sit and run a PPL report and you're able to look and evaluate your numbers, here's how many leads I've received this year, this month, this week, whatever the time frame is that you'd like to do the evaluation on, you're able to really go through those analytics, be able to review those metrics and say, based off of how many leads I'm receiving, here's my closing ratio. Here's my average case size. Here's how much premium I'm selling each time I make a sale. And it's no different than running a business, whether it be a restaurant, whether it be a tire repair shop, or whether it be a pharmaceutical company. It doesn't matter. You're able to evaluate those analytics and those metrics, which are essential to you knowing your numbers, because that's how you're going to be able to fine tune it. If you don't know that the engine's running hot, how do you know to pop the hood and get underneath there and figure out what's causing that to happen before you throw a piston through the hood? So using those metrics, using those analytics, that's one part of the system. The other part of the system is to be able to just kind of say, hey, look, here's where I want to go, here's what I want to do. Let me take care of the hard part, which is seeing people. I do find a lot of people that are utilizing the system to its fullest are really able to see their maximum results. And those that are just getting into using the system are starting to see on a day-by-day basis, see those numbers increase. Maybe not immediately. Nothing in life is immediate. Instant gratification is cheap and it's unfulfilling. Whether it's, hey, I want to lose 30 pounds and I want to add on 20 pounds of muscle. I want to get in better shape. I want to do this. I want to do that. It takes time. If you have an accident or you have some type of surgery, when you go to physical rehabilitation, you're not going to be back to you that next day. It takes weeks and months to gather that strength and get back up. So when you plug into the system, you're able to use that system, but understand that it's going to be gradually increasing in terms of the success. You're going to see it gradually increase. It's not going to happen overnight. We have another hand raised. We have the lovely Marie Titus. Marie, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Yeah.
Good morning.
I wanted to add to that and follow and agree with Jim. The minute you asked the question, I started jotting down all of my reasons. First and foremost, as a mother with 3 children, flexible hours were vital. The children have Mondays off every time you turn around because of a holiday. Sometimes they're half days. And normally, if you have a regular job, there's no way you can finagle all of those things. But you can pretty much get an idea of what the schedule is going to be, and you can situate your schedule accordingly. And so the flexible hours were important. I wrote, secondly, I get to meet new people. That's really refreshing. A lot of times, especially when you're going through a rough patch in the business, you have to have multiple reasons why you're doing it, why you're doing this business. And personally speaking, I like being able to go out every day, meet new people. In general, I find that everyone is good. I find the good in everyone. But that is actually very refreshing. I don't get to sit in traffic every day. I remember those 9 to 5s. It's not fun. But I think probably most importantly is the unlimited income you can make. Literally, as I'm getting better, feeling better, I said, you know what, Marie, 1 week, 10 grand. That's what you want to put on the leaderboard. And, whether it results in 5, 6 grand in commissions for the week, it is achievable. You cannot do that in any business. You'd be lucky to bring home 3 or 4 grand a month, let alone in a week. It can be done in this business. You can make an unlimited income in this business. So I think that's probably, definitely up there on the top. And just to let you know that no one can fire you. People are getting laid off. I talk to people all of the time. I've been laid off. They're discouraged because they've been looking for years and still cannot find anything. So no one can fire you. Only you can fire yourself. And I just want to share a little story about my son. Recently, he got promoted as assistant manager at Domino's. And he was really excited because the manager at the time gave him his hours. He would be opening a few days a week in the morning. So he had morning hours, and he liked it. He kept his weekend hours, which were in the evening. He didn't mind that. And then a new manager comes along and just basically decided, this is the hours that I'm going to give you. So he's now starting at 5 p.m. And anyone who's worked overnight, and sometimes he gets home 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, anyone who's worked graveyard shift knows it can really throw your clock off. And so he's really, really irritated. He's a different, management style. But guess what? Though he just changed his schedule and changed everything around and gave him literally like 2 days of training, he has to deal with it. We really don't have to deal with that. We have a great company that offers unlimited amount of training. You can self-train, and it's just, you get your leads every week. It's a great machine. So I don't think I would work any other job, of course, unless I get rich, other than what I'm doing here, because there is a lot of fulfillment. Those are my reasons, Steve.
Absolutely love it, Marie. Thank you for jumping on the call as always. And guys, like I said, if you have any questions about anything related to what we've gone over on today's call, I know it's a little bit more condensed down, but those 3 questions, write them down and keep them in front of you, particularly the why. The goals we talk about having in front of you at all times. I think the goals you can come back to. You can have that at the office. You can have it at the house. But the one thing when you feel like, man, I don't feel like doing this today. I'm not into it. I'm not getting a good vibe today. If you really want to keep the why in front of your face so you don't forget it, figure out what the why is. Is it family? Is it money? Is it to prove somebody wrong? Is it the fear of failure? Is it the fear of financial failure? What is your why? Why did you decide to get in this business? Keep that in front of you. I would say keep it right in front of you in your car. Like when you were a teenager, you probably had a picture of your girlfriend or your boyfriend next to the speedometer in your car. Keep your why right there, and you'll see it every single time you're in the car and you're going to see the next person. So if you feel like, man, I'm turning around, I want to go home today. I just don't feel like I'm not feeling it today. Remember, that why will motivate you. That why is real. That why is it's tangible. You can touch it and you can feel it. It's not a why is different than a goal. So I'll throw that out there to you guys, and I want to thank everybody for being on the call today.